I love when we have guys debut, and I wonder what you tell a guy before he goes out before his first start in the big league.
Hey, we just want you to be yourself. I mean, you've worked your whole life to get here. You've worked obviously throughout your minor league career with our minor league coaches, everything else. Just go be the best version of yourself you can be today. Don't try to be something you're not because a scouting report says this or that or the other. Let's find out how your stuff plays here. Go out, be yourself. We'll get something to work off of, and we'll go from there.
You've always said go out and be yourself, and it seems so easy to say, but you know that the nerves are probably at a place they've never been before for a guy. How do you settle? Is that, do you feel like the best way to settle a guy down?
I think so. I think if you can give them the freedom to just be themselves, look, we all know we've been around long enough. That first time, sometimes the one thing that it does show is how a guy is going to handle himself, mentally and handle not just the big stage, but more eyes on you. And sure, it's a higher level of baseball, but from a performance standpoint, sure, you want that start to be great. You want them all to be great, and if they're really good or great, well, that makes the next one a little easier, and you go. But at the same time, if it doesn't go as well as you would like for it to, and I'm speaking of the pitcher himself, there's the understanding that we're not passing judgment on a guy's first start in the major leagues. I mean, it's the culmination of a lifelong dream, and there are a lot of emotions involved that are not going to be there throughout your career.
Scouting report for Parker that you're going to work off of as you watch.
It's a fierce competitor. He's got really basically a 5-pitch mix. 4-seamer, 2-seamer, slider, curveball, changeup. I think his best secondary pitch is his changeup. It's a pitch that he leans on in big situations. But again, that's the report we have. That's what we've seen. And again, we're going to give him some information about the opposition. But at the same time, the most important thing is for him to go out and pitch with his strengths, and let's see where we're at.
When you, I always think you always got, no matter who the starter is, you got something you're working on with somebody. With Slade Ciccone, what do you see right now with what's happened in his last 2 starts? And I'm saying this because it's not just about Slade. We're at a point in the season where there's a lot of guys probably pitching more innings than they have before. How do you play into that when you see what's happening with a guy like Slade?
Yeah, honestly, Andre, I think you kind of nailed it. I mean, we are going to have a great number of our starters this year get to innings and thresholds that they haven't been to before and getting beyond it. And Slade's kind of already there. And this guy works extremely hard, and we're trying to help him manage his work between starts to be more efficient and to cut back on some volume and let's just be efficient with the work and not overdo the work. And for a guy like him, look, you'd much rather a guy want to work too hard than have a guy that you got to force to work. But I feel like just the last couple maybe really the command hadn't been quite as sharp. And the spinning pitches, the breaking balls haven't been quite as teethy. We're not seeing, they're a little more rolly and not that, quick dart down with the slider or, the bite to the curveball. And that all comes to, it kind of comes back to not so much fatigue, but not quite being as strong as you were, earlier in the season. And sometimes it leaks into the delivery where you're trying to generate that power. So it's basically a delivery focus right now of getting him in the proper positions over the rubber to allow him to be on time. And, hopefully that creates better stuff.
I get all the spin stuff, but for me, when we watched him, he was able to put that fastball on that lower, like he was able almost most of the season. If he needed that heater on the lower level, it was there. I know that's not there either right now at times.
Yeah, I think and he's not going to say he's tired. He's not going to say he's fatigued. I think that generally it's just, you kind of know it. Like I said, he's not where he was earlier in the year from an energy and strength standpoint. When you feel that way as a pitcher, it's similar to when guys overthrow. You try to generate velocity, and when you try to generate velocity, a lot of times you try to generate with the arm and lose focus of the lower half. And that's really what we're going to try to work on actually as a bullpen today, of reestablishing that good posture and that strong foundation to allow him to be on time and allow his arm to be on time. And that strength from the core is that's going to give you the velocity and the life you need.
Logan Allen has found a way to be really consistent and kind of go through all of this year and get deep into games. What has changed from you from maybe a year ago today to where he is right now with his consistency?
I think with Logan, it's interesting. If you put Logan out on a field, on a mound, no hitters, throwing bullpens, might be one of our best strike throwers in terms of consistency in the zone. I think, he's improved in games now with his ball strike percentage. It's kind of weird. Usually the first couple of innings he'll spray some pitches, get in trouble, and all of a sudden, boom, he's in the zone, he's attacking, and here he goes, and the next thing you know, it's the sixth inning. He's had a start, I think 2 starts ago, where it flipped in reverse, where he started the game and he was just filling up a strike zone, and then he kind of lost that zone. But really, more than anything else, his ability to shape the baseball. He's got a couple of different variations of his slider now, which he can backdoor and still get to the back foot. And it's actually vice versa, because he's really good at backdooring it. Now he can get it to the back foot, and it's a little sharper. He's always had the changeup. But we've really, of late, he's just gaining so much value in his fastball. And I don't know if hitters are coming up with a game plan and kind of looking more changeup, spin. But his fastball is really, really playing up right now. And that just bodes a ton of confidence to a guy when you can trust your fastball, because let's face it, it should be the easiest pitch for you to throw in command. Then, I think you feel like you kind of are going to have the upper hand, knowing that you have these secondary weapons to utilize. And that's what I think Logan's done so well this year.
All right, let's end on this. 2 guys that no one talks about a lot, but your bullpen, we said this on the game last night, your bullpen may not be where it's at without these guys. I call him Everyday Festa, because it feels like he pitches every day, and Kolby Allard. Just what are those 2 meant to what your bullpen has been able to accomplish so far this season?
Well, I mean, everything. Look, sure, Cade Smith in the back, Hunter Gaddis towards the back, Sabrowski. Now we got Tim Herron back. Nick Enright's done an outstanding job. We have guys for those leverage situations, but the guys there in the middle, and it's seemingly every night that, win a game or we're down a run, Matty Festa's coming in the game to get us out of a situation to either hold that lead or hold that 1-run deficit. And he's just done a tremendous job, whether it be to come in and get 2 outs and be done, come in and get an out or 2, go back out for an inning, save our guys that are leverage guys for the innings we want them to pitch, and not have them pitch when we don't want them to pitch. And the same is said for Kolby Allard. And along with that, Colby's ability to give us some length, to go out and throw 2 innings at times this year, 3 innings, making a spot start, a couple of spot starts, and going out and performing really, really well, having a guy with that type of versatility. And it really all comes, again, both these guys shape the ball. Both these guys pound the strike zone. Kolby pounds the strike zone with 5 different pitches, 5 different speeds. Nothing's overpowering. It's hard for a hitter to get on time. And they've really saved our other guys while doing a really, really good job, not only for our team, but for themselves and their careers as well.
We got 30-some games left. You guys still have a chance to make the playoffs, which when you first were back out here in Arizona in February, that was the main thing. How important is that for you to remember that as you go through your last few starts?
I feel like it's just important to finish the year out strong, because you don't know whether you could be at the end of it. I think we were here like March 25th or something like that, and obviously we knew we had a long year ahead of us. And honestly, it's kind of flown by. And now that we're back here, it feels like we were in Arizona last month. So it's kind of one of those things where you just got to keep going. Because I don't know how many exactly we're out by, but it's just we're pretty damn close.
Yeah. I think you make the best point of it, though, is when we look at it, the season does fly by. And I could bring up 2 starts of yours, and you may feel like that was 6 of them. But I think the beauty is you still have 4 or 5 more ahead. Is that the best way to look at where you're at right now?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the most important thing, whether it's we obviously making playoffs is 1-1 in that kind of priority list. But I mean, I think for me, for Gavin, for Logan, for Slade, just kind of finishing the year out strong. So whether it's regardless of whether we make the playoffs or not, you just have a kind of a good taste in your mouth going into the offseason. You kind of be at least happy with what you ended at and not really necessarily an entire year, because what I did in April is at this point is not nearly as important as what I do now. So
I'm glad you said that. What have you learned about yourself as a pitcher this year?
A lot. I mean, I think trying not to control everything, trying not to force anything is usually is my best version of myself. I feel like this year definitely has been a different one than I'm used to since I ever got into pro ball. And it's just trying to figure out how to navigate it and how to get back to successful ways. And I feel like I feel like nothing puts the basics at the forefront of your mind than getting beat. So I think that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Baseball getting beat is it's a different animal. You know what I mean by that. I mean, all right, here, like I'll throw it to you this way, and I don't have all the answers. He don't even want this question. You're getting 2 strikes on a lot of hitters. But that last nail in the coffin has become difficult at times. So in what part of that stage do you look at and say, okay, if I do this part shouldn't be as difficult? Because if you get 2 strikes, you would think I can get that third.
Yeah, I mean, I think of it as like I'm getting the hard part down, and it's just the quote unquote easiest part that I'm not getting it down. So I feel like that makes it easier. I mean, if I was getting whacked in all counts, it'd be super different. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of stuff out there that's super encouraging. But I feel like with the strikeouts, with all that stuff, I feel like it always comes back to like my body and how I move and the lines I create, because the lines that you create with the baseball is kind of everything. Everything breaks later, looks like a fastball longer. That's just kind of the thing. And for how rough it's been, I feel like it's been pretty okay. I don't want to like sell myself short at the same time, because I know I'm way better than what everything says. But at the same time, it's like I gotta look at it where I've been not necessarily like mentally strong, but just kind of like resilient in that way.
All right, last thing off of that, because I think naturally, and I'm going through this as a parent, to be honest, all of us tend to put a bigger emphasis on negative than the positive. Where you just said yourself, there's a lot of good in there, but it's been hard to like see it or feel it probably because of the end results. Is that the best way to ask?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like, there's definitely times this year, some recent, some not, where I've looked at myself in the mirror and been like, what is going on? Like, am I like, what's just like a lot of negative thoughts, and focusing on the negative and saying that like I've been terrible this entire year, stuff like that. But it's just like, it's not the case. Like I've had good starts, and it's just like my like quote unquote like not great starts like have been like, compared to last year and the year before, like it was more of a minimized damage those 2 years, and this year it's been a lot of crooked numbers. So it's just one of those things of trying to figure out why, and like you're always evolving through this game, so it's just kind of figuring out what the next evolution is.
Take it from a bald man. Keep your hair. Last time you quit looking in the mirror, keep that Goldilocks, and smile.
That's the plan.